Hey everyone, today I want to break down a diplomatic story that's making waves far beyond the headlines. Italy and Eritrea have just inked a major cooperation agreement, and trust me, it's raising some serious eyebrows. If you thought international politics was all about long speeches and handshakes, well, this one's got history, controversy, and a lot at stake. So, what's actually happening between Italy and Eritrea? It all kicked off at the Italy-Africa Summit in Rome back in January 2024. Eritrea's president, Isaias Afwerki, had a high-profile meeting with Italy's Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni. They talked shop on everything from infrastructure to energy, mining to agriculture. But it didn't stop there. Fast forward to June, and Italy's business minister, Adolfo Urso, sat down with President Afwerki again. This time, Eritrea floated the idea of a strategic partnership, and we're talking the whole package: renewables, water, manufacturing, roads, ports, even healthcare and tourism. And by October, Italian officials were on the ground in Eritrea, checking out development projects and archaeological sites like Adulis. So what's the big deal? Why is this considered so shocking? Well, here's the thing. Eritrea is one of the world's most isolated and frankly repressive states. For Italy to be the first Western nation to sign such a sweeping agreement, that's a major diplomatic pivot, especially considering Italy used to be Eritrea's colonial ruler. Now let's talk geography for a second. Eritrea sits right by the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, a choke point for ships entering and leaving the Red Sea. That's a seriously strategic spot. Italy's sudden interest in building roads and ports right there, it's got some folks saying this move is less about friendship, more about locking down influence, access to minerals, and controlling migration routes. Of course, there's another side to the story. Italian investment could mean new roads, power plants, and jobs for Eritreans. Better healthcare, modernized ports, schools, the kind of development that could lift up local communities. But, and it's a big but, there's no getting around Eritrea's authoritarian government. Critics warn that all this money and investment could end up propping up a regime with a pretty awful human rights record instead of offering real benefits to everyday people. And let's be real, the optics here matter. Italy has a colonial past in Eritrea. So when observers talk about neocolonialism, they're not just throwing around buzzwords. They're asking if this is just an old playbook dressed up as new partnership. Then, there's the ripple effect. Italy's cozying up to Eritrea could shake things up across the Horn of Africa, especially with neighbors like Ethiopia, whose relationship with Eritrea is already tense. Regional stability? That's a huge question mark. So, bottom line, Italy's deals with Eritrea are a big deal, controversial, complicated, and honestly a bit risky. Sure, there's potential for real economic progress, but the stakes go way beyond jobs and infrastructure. Human rights, historical wounds, and regional politics are all in the mix, and how Italy handles this next chapter could have consequences far beyond just two countries. If you want a deep dive on how other Western countries are handling Eritrea, or maybe a closer look at that renewable energy angle, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe and hit like for more stories that cut through the noise.